không?
Mời quý vị và các bạn theo dõi bản tin nhanh cập nhật về chuyên cơ chở Tổng thống Mỹ Donald Trump hạ cánh xuống thủ đô Hà Nội để bắt đầu hội nghị thượng đỉnh Mỹ Triều lần thứ 2.
Ủa em là đang khóc.
VTC đang có mặt tại sân bay quốc tế Nội Bài thì ông Donald
Ủa.
Trump đã đáp chuyến bay xuống sân bay quốc tế Nội Bài thủ đô Hà Nội trên chiếc không lực 1. Và trong thời gian ở là Hà Nội thì Tổng thống Mỹ Donald Trump sẽ hội kiến với Tổng Bí thư Chủ tịch nước Nguyễn Phú Trọng và Thủ tướng Nguyễn Xuân Phúc vào trưa 27 tháng 2. Sau đó thì ông Trump sẽ có cuộc gặp với ông Kim Jong tại một địa điểm chưa được công bố tại Hà Nội trước khi tiến hành hội nghị thượng đỉnh với Chủ tịch Triều Tiên vào ngày 28 tháng 2. Và trước đó vào lúc 12 giờ 34 phút ngày 25 tháng 2 theo giờ Washington, tức là 0 giờ 34 phút ngày 26 tháng 2 theo giờ Việt Nam, Tổng thống Mỹ Donald Trump đã lên chiếc máy bay Air Force One rời căn cứ không quân Andrew ở bang Maryland để bắt đầu chuyến đi tới Việt Nam. Pháo đài bay bất khả xâm phạm chuyên cơ Air Force One của Tổng thống Mỹ Donald Trump đã hạ cánh xuống sân bay Nội Bài sau hơn 20 giờ di chuyển. Và bây giờ chúng tôi sẽ được kết nối với phóng viên Bích Ngọc của VTC1 đang có mặt tại sân bay quốc tế Nội Bài để phản ánh không khí tại đây vào lúc này. Xin mời chị Bích Ngọc ạ.
Thưa quý vị và các bạn, chuyên cơ của Tổng thống Mỹ Donald Trump đã đáp xuống sân bay quốc tế Nội Bài. Chuyên cơ này đã phải trải qua một quãng đường dài với 13.000 km và 17 giờ bay liên tục. Trên chuyến bay, ông Trump đã bày tỏ lạc quan về cuộc gặp sắp tới với ông Kim Jong trên Twitter. Việc đảm bảo an ninh tại sân bay được đặt lên hàng đầu với yêu cầu nghiêm ngặt và tuyệt đối, phối hợp chặt chẽ với an ninh Mỹ theo phương án đã được đưa ra. Tại Nội Bài, lực lượng an ninh đã được huy động tối đa, một số vị trí trọng yếu đã được tăng cường gấp 2 đến 3 lần. Tất cả các trường hợp đều đã có phương án từ quản lý bầu trời, thời gian chuyên cơ hạ cánh, vị trí đỗ đến phương án tiếp đón nguyên thủ và di chuyển về trung tâm Hà Nội. Chuyên cơ không lực 1 của Tổng thống Mỹ sẽ được ưu tiên đặc biệt về vùng trời về vị trí đỗ. Cụ thể, khoảng 5 phút trước khi chuyên cơ đáp xuống Nội Bài, tất cả các chuyến bay thương mại đều phải tạm ngừng hoạt động.
Nội Bài,
Sau khi chuyên cơ hạ cánh và thoát ly khỏi đường bay, thì hoạt động khai thác thương mại mới trở lại hoạt động bình thường.
VietNam welcome Trump. California, window, elevator.
Vâng, và lúc này thì chúng tôi sẽ chuyển tới quý vị và các bạn những hình ảnh trực tiếp từ sân bay quốc tế Nội Bài.
Live trong live trong our airport, our window airport.
Hình ảnh mà quý vị đang theo dõi trực tiếp ở trên màn hình chúng ta có thể thấy đó là chiếc chuyên cơ Air Force One chở Tổng thống Mỹ cất cánh từ căn cứ không quân Andrew ở bang Maryland đã đáp xuống sân bay quốc tế Nội Bài của thủ đô Hà Nội, Việt Nam cách đây ít phút. Và lộ trình của chiếc chuyên cơ không lực 1 này đã bay qua Thái Bình Dương dọc theo các căn cứ quân sự của Mỹ để tiện cho việc hộ tống và tiếp nhiên liệu. Chiếc chuyên cơ Air Force One đã bay thẳng đến Việt Nam và không quá cảnh ở bất kỳ đâu. Máy bay này sẽ được tiếp nhiên liệu ở trên không và cho phép bay thẳng đến bất kỳ mọi nơi trên thế giới. Chi phí nhiên liệu, hộ tống và đảm bảo an ninh cho chuyến bay thẳng đến Việt Nam của chuyên cơ Air Force One có thể tốn hàng triệu đô la. Vâng, và lúc này thì chúng ta sẽ cùng đến với nghi thức đón Tổng thống Donald Trump tại sân bay quốc tế Nội Bài.
Welcome Mr. Trump. Come back Việt Nam. Meet Kim Jong.
Trước khi đến Việt Nam thì đội ngũ hậu cần của Nhà Trắng đã đưa hai ô tô bọc thép Cadillac One cùng với hai chiếc Chevrolet đến thủ đô Hà Nội từ hôm 23 tháng 2. Và đây là những chiếc xe nằm trong đội hình bảo vệ Tổng thống Trump trong suốt thời gian ở Việt Nam. Và lúc này thì những mẫu xe đã được Mỹ đưa đến Việt Nam trước đó cũng đang có mặt trước chuyên cơ Air Force One chở Tổng thống Donald Trump hạ cánh xuống sân bay Nội Bài. Mẫu xe quái thú có độ dày của lớp vỏ tới hơn 20 cm và cánh cửa nặng ngang ngửa máy bay Boeing 757. Và chỉ riêng cửa kính của những ô tô này cũng đã dày tới gần 13 cm, cấu thành từ ít nhất 5 lớp để tạo độ hấp thụ lực cho tác động từ bên ngoài. Và lốp xe là loại run flat, có kích thước như là lốp xe buýt, được gia cố để giúp xe vẫn chạy được quãng đường nhất định trong khi bị thủng. Và thông thường thì đội hình đoàn xe chở tổng thống Mỹ sẽ lăn bánh trên đường luôn bao gồm 11 chiếc, trong đó có 2 chiếc quái thú. Thưa quý vị, theo Google Maps thì khoảng cách từ Maryland đến thủ đô Hà Nội của Việt Nam là 13.862 km. Thời gian bay là khoảng hơn 17 giờ đồng hồ. Với tốc độ trung bình của máy bay thương mại là khoảng 805 km/h. Còn chiếc Air Force One của Tổng thống Trump thì có thể bay với tốc độ nhanh hơn. Theo số liệu của Liên minh người nộp thuế Mỹ thì chi phí cho mỗi giờ bay của chiếc chuyên cơ Air Force One này là 142.380 đô la trong năm tài chính 2017 và giảm so với 180,118 đô la một giờ bay của năm tài chính 2016. Và chi phí này đã bao gồm nhiên liệu, vật tư, bảo trì trước, trong và sau mỗi chuyến bay. Theo quan sát của chúng tôi thì lúc này thì các đồng chí lãnh đạo các cơ quan bộ ngành chức năng của Việt Nam đang tập trung tại sân bay quốc tế Nội Bài để đón Tổng thống Mỹ Donald Trump, và có Bộ trưởng Chủ nhiệm Văn phòng Chính phủ Mai Tiến Dũng cũng đang có mặt tại sân bay quốc tế Nội Bài vào lúc này để đón Tổng thống Mỹ Donald Trump. Lực lượng nghi lễ của Công an Nhân dân Việt Nam cũng đã có mặt tại sân bay quốc tế Nội Bài để sẵn sàng một lễ đón tiếp mà chúng tôi nghĩ rằng sẽ là một nghi lễ đón tiếp mà nhanh gọn nhưng mà rất là trang trọng. Theo tính toán thì với lộ trình kéo dài gần 20 giờ bay thì chi phí của chuyên cơ Air Force One bay đến Việt Nam là khoảng hơn 2,4 triệu đô la. Trước đó trong chuyến thăm của cựu Tổng thống Mỹ Barack Obama đến Việt Nam vào năm 2016, chi phí để chuyên cơ Air Force One bay từ Maryland đến Hà Nội được tính ở mức 3,5 triệu đô la. Vâng, và trên màn hình lúc này chúng ta đã thấy sự hiện diện của Tổng thống Mỹ Donald Trump. Vâng, ông đang vẫy tay chào các quý vị đại biểu. Tổng thống Mỹ Donald Trump vẫn trong bộ trang phục com lê như thường lệ khi mà ông tới thăm ngoại giao các nước trong khu vực. Và hôm nay ông hiện diện tại sân bay quốc tế Nội Bài với chiếc sơ mi trắng và nổi bật trên nền chiếc cà vạt màu xanh. Chúng ta vẫn chưa nhận thấy là có sự hiện diện của phu nhân Tổng thống Mỹ vào lúc này. Vâng, và chúng tôi cũng xin thông tin thêm tới quý vị là trong khuôn khổ hội nghị thượng đỉnh Mỹ Triều lần thứ 2 tổ chức tại thủ đô Hà Nội thì đệ nhất phu nhân Melania Trump, vợ phu nhân của Tổng thống Mỹ Donald Trump, với bà là Son Yu là phu nhân của lãnh đạo Triều Tiên Kim Jong đều không có mặt tại Việt Nam, đều không tháp tùng phu quân của mình trong chuyến công du này.
Bố ơi, bố gạt đi, hôm nay em là không đây đây.
Vietnam, just hours ahead of the first round of meetings, expressed high expectations for the summit between leaders Kim and Trump. Let's take a listen.
오늘은 마침 베트남에서 제2차 북미 정상회담이 개최되어 한반도 평화와 번영을 만들어 나가는 데 있어서 매우 중요한 의미가 있는 날입니다.
The visiting Crown Prince added that his country will continue to support the efforts being made to bring lasting peace to the Korean Peninsula, saying that a peace on the peninsula will benefit not only those in the region, but also those on the other side of the world. Both North Korean leader Kim Jong and US President Donald Trump arrived in Hanoi on Tuesday. Kan Hyung-woo has more on their first day in the Vietnamese capital.
The faces of the second North Korea-US summit, Kim Jong-un and Donald Trump, are in Hanoi, setting the stage to take negotiations to the next level to achieve Pyongyang's denuclearization and forge lasting peace on the Korean peninsula. President Trump arrived in Hanoi late Tuesday at Noi Bai International Airport. After he was greeted by Vietnamese government officials on the red carpet, the U.S. leader got into his presidential limousine and headed for the JW Marriott Hotel in the western part of Hanoi. Earlier in the day, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un arrived at Vietnam's Dong Dang railway station after a grueling 60-hour train ride across China. After Kim shook hands with a number of Vietnamese officials, he left by limousine for the Melia Hotel in the city. The North Korean leader chose the regime's embassy as the first and last outing on the first day of his Hanoi trip. Hundreds of soldiers blocked the roads as Kim visited the embassy for less than an hour in the afternoon. Meanwhile, Pompeo met on Tuesday with Vietnamese Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Pham Binh Minh. According to the State Department, the top American diplomat thanked Minister Pham for Vietnam's partnership in hosting the summit. Kan Hyung-woo, Arirang News, Hanoi.
Now, as we heard earlier, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and US President Donald Trump are having a social dinner on Wednesday. They're also to be joined by their top aides as well. Choi Si-young tells us more.
After their one-on-one discussion later on Wednesday, the two leaders will have an intimate dinner, the first of its kind for Kim and Trump. Other than Kim and Trump themselves, two aides from each side are expected to be present at the dinner. North Korea's top nuclear negotiator Kim Jong will participate, and Kim Jong-un's sister Kim Jong is widely considered the other potential candidate. Joining President Trump will be Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, along with acting White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney. Watchers say since only the closest aides will take part in the greeting and dinner, the two countries will have a frank discussion on denuclearization and corresponding measures. Adding to that speculation is the fact that the hawkish U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton, who also arrived in Hanoi on Tuesday, isn't a member of these talks. The two leaders are expected to wrap up the meeting with the Hanoi Declaration. The outcome of this meeting, experts say, will determine much of what the two-day summit will produce at the end. Choi Si-young, Arirang News.
Now, on his way to Vietnam, Kim Jong was seen smoking a cigarette at a Chinese station while taking a break. His sister Kim Jong was seen waiting hand and foot as well, carrying a crystal ashtray while he smoked. But watchers say her role shouldn't be seen too lightly, and is far bigger than perhaps meets the eye. Park Se-young has more.
Cái thang này nha, ngủ chập tội là ngủ nào thang chứ đâu.
A 1-minute video broadcast by Japan's TBS shows North Korean leader Kim Jong-un lighting a cigarette with a match and taking a drag at China's Nanning station in the on Tuesday. His sister Kim Jong is seen carrying a crystal ashtray for the North Korean leader. But the footage shows much more than the leader's sister holding his ashtray. Kim Jong, who's the deputy director of the regime's propaganda and agitation department, has been making sure everything is running like clockwork, from the leader's arrival in Vietnam to his arrival at the Melia Hotel. Even during the first summit in Singapore, Kim Jong was seen pulling out the seat for Chairman Kim, handing him his pen, and making sure everything was prepared for Chairman Kim's needs. Her ability to get things done quickly was even seen during last year's inter-Korean summits, with some even calling her a scene stealer, with her attentiveness and poise launching her into the spotlight. With the historic summit kicking off late Wednesday, watchers will continue to keep a close eye on the role Kim Jong plays going forward. Park Se-young, Arirang News.
The North Korean regime has been seeking relief from heavy global sanctions which have been crippling its economy. While the Trump administration has said the sanctions will remain, some are expecting at least a minor agreement on easing the stringent restrictions. Oh Si-young reports.
Since 2006, the UN Security Council has been scaling up its sanctions on North Korea.
to punish the regime for its nuclear and missile development and its provocations. The sanctions aim to squeeze Pyongyang's main sources of revenue through trade embargoes and the freezing of assets and financial transactions. Tougher measures in recent years have banned key North Korean exports, including coal, seafood and textiles, and have introduced a stringent cap on North Korea's imports of refined petroleum. A ban on the regime sending workers overseas deprived it of a source.
Doesn't need to have any surgery, and he can then take part in women's sport, win vast amounts of money, and perhaps after 2 or 3 years simply go back and be a man again. And that would be a corrupt thing to do. It would be the wrong thing to do, unethical and frankly cheating, as Martinez says. But that doesn't mean it can't happen. And that's what really worries me about this. They haven't thought this through about what the consequence will be if you simply allow any
20 days to a month, like Carol. How many women will potentially suffer like Carol? HR 8 also has other problems. Unfortunately, the debate in Judiciary Committee was cut short. Many common sense amendments were not even heard. Only 10 amendments out of 100 were heard before the chairman cut off debate. Because of the rush to get this bill through, there's another problem.
That in the many criminal investigations. The Oversight Committee tomorrow, a month or so before the man goes to jail for lying to Congress, amongst other things, is not the time to produce proof that's been demanded by investigating authorities for a long time.
Let's see if he has anything, and let's see what it is, and then we can decide where it came from. Let me ask you one other quick thing. This tweet from Matt Gaetz, we have him on the show. I offer him a fair hearing all the time. Hopefully we'll have him again soon. Would you write something like this, or do you believe that this crosses the line of decorum, if not legality, in terms of how to treat a potential witness? Do you and your wife and your father-in-law know about your girlfriends? Maybe tonight would be a good time for that chat. I wonder if she'll remain faithful when you're in prison. She's about to learn a lot. How do you feel about that, sir?
That's not the kind of thing that I would say, good sir. To have decorum and civility in the most difficult of times is reflective of the character of the man speaking. And I don't claim to know the details of my colleagues' statements or from whence they were born, but I can say that tomorrow myself and my colleagues will conduct ourselves with civility and respect as we seek the truth for the American people.
Congressman, thank you very much for being on the show. It's an important night, and it's important to hear from you, sir.
Yeah, and thank you, sir.
All right, good luck tomorrow in discharging your duty. There's some avenues that Cohen won't be able to go down tomorrow in public, but there's plenty he will be able to talk about. I have a window into a hearing that I believe will make history. Next.
One-on-one, brought to you by BP. At BP, we see possibilities everywhere.
This simple banana peel represents a bowl crash. It not only saves about 80% in carbon emissions, it helps reduce landfill waste. That's why BP is partnering with the California company Fulcrum Bioenergy to turn garbage into jet fuel, because we can't let any good ideas go to waste. At BP, we see possibilities everywhere to help the world keep advancing. T-Mobile's always happy to see you. When you join T-Mobile, you get 2 lines of unlimited with 2 of the latest phones included for just $100 a month.
I do like that. Boop, stachio. Boop, stachio. Pistachio. But we can make this happen, watch. Next one. Pistachio. Wait, now, pistachio.
Good, they're here. You can just leave them on the porch.
Help protect your packages with the ADT Video Doorbell. Mortgage Protection Service. Brought to you by ADT.
Guys go through a lot to deal with shave irritation, so we built the new Gillette Skin Guard with a specialized guard designed to reduce it. Because we believe all men deserve a razor just for them. The best a man can get. Gillette.
With Advil, you'll ask, what sore muscles? What pounding head? Advil is relief that's fast. Strength that lasts. You'll ask, what pain? With Advil.
When did soup become this? At Panera, we treat soup differently. With vine-ripened tomatoes, signature cheddar, simmered to perfection. With big flavors, not artificial ones. Enjoy 100% clean soup today. Panera, food as it should be.
We're doing karaoke later, and you're gonna sing.
Jamie, this is your house?
I know, it's not much, but it's home. Right, kids?
You didn't tell me your friends were coming?
Oh, yeah.
This one is tiny like a child.
Yeah, she is. Oh, but seriously, it's good to be surrounded by what matters most. A home and auto bundle from Progressive.
Oh, sweetie, please, play for us.
Oh, no, I couldn't. Okay.
Our new hot, fresh breakfast will get you the readiest. Holiday Inn Express, be the readiest.
Candace, 2 minutes. Oh, too late for lunch.
Stock is safe today.
Sweet and spicy tuna in a pouch. Smart choice, Charlie.
No drain, no pain, just tear, eat,
and go.
Try all of my tuna, salmon, and chicken pouches.
This is the story of Saudi Arabia, Kingdom of Secrets, Sunday at 8.
There's a reason Michael Cohen's testimony is keeping the president up at night. 2 words: providing evidence. You can question Cohen's credibility, that's easy. But this isn't just about what he knows. It's about what he can show. That's why I kept making that point to the congressman. And know this about Cohen: he keeps records. That includes tapes, like the one I played for you on this show of Donald Trump, then Donald Trump, now President Donald Trump, discussing one of the crimes that is sending Cohen to prison, the hush payments. Remember this?
I've spoken to Alan Weisselberg about how to set the whole thing up with funding. Yes. And it's all the stuff.
More tapes like that? I'd have to believe no. I think we'd know that already. But we'll be watching to see if Cohen starts to fill in the blanks about exactly what all the stuff means. That starts with names. Names like, who are the Trump Organization executives that we know from court documents signed off on paying Cohen back for the women? Who did that, and under what pretense? This is going to be important, because the circumstances of how Cohen was reimbursed are the difference between a fugazi marital mess and a felony, okay? The reason to believe someone at the campaign was involved is because we know a member of the campaign sat in on the meeting where Cohen and the publisher of the National Enquirer discussed the practice of burying negative stories about Trump. Who was it? But Cohen's relevance goes beyond campaign finance questions. Cohen wasn't really just a lawyer. The president's right. As far back as 2007, he was also an executive vice president at the Trump Org and did lots of work on the business side.
I protect Mr. Trump. That's what it is. If there's an issue that relates to Mr. Trump that is of concern to him, it's of course concern to me. And I will use my legal skills within which to protect Mr. Trump to the best of my ability.
Now look, some of that he was in the Glow, right? And that was on the PR side. But on the business side, insurance policies, claims at Trump properties, maybe hiring practices, maybe personal information about the president, what he wanted people to know, and how his image was projected. What may be Trump's closest held secret? How much he's worth? That's something that could come up in an oversight meeting. It's not going to send you away. It's not going to end the presidency. But it's a point about what the president has been lying to you about or not. Cohen was by Trump's side for a couple of bankruptcy fights at a time when Trump couldn't get financing in the U.S. All that creates a paper trail. A paper trail that looks a lot like this. The signed letter of intent I showed you for the Trump Tower Moscow deal. Remember, that's the same deal that Cohen lied to Congress about. In his sentencing memo, Cohen's attorney wrote that even as he was lying, Michael remained in close and regular contact with White House-based staff and legal counsel to Client One. Who? What were they doing? What were they telling him? Client One, it's obviously the president. We don't know whom he was talking to, and it matters. And if they're phone records, we may know. Cohen's plea said that he asked a senior campaign official about potential business travel to Russia. That intersection between the campaign and the business is going to be important. Congress is going to want to know where else Trump was trying to do business and where he may owe money. It's a path that plays right into the Democrats' argument that they need the president's tax returns. Now, even with the deal to stay away from areas Mueller and the SDNY are digging into, we're told that there are still 8 or 9 areas that are fair game. That just shows how deep Cohen's involvement in Trump world goes. Tomorrow will not be a trial. The only verdict will be the one in the court of public opinion. But it will have political repercussions for the president. What are they? How will he fare? How big a deal is tomorrow? That is the making of a great debate. I say we have it. Next.
Let's go from plans to full-blown production. Let's go from being on call to being online. American Express can help move your business forward with loans, vendor payments, and buying power. Chat with one of our 4,000 specialists, and let's make it happen. The powerful backing of American Express. Don't do business without it.
If you want to hire the right fit, post your job to the right place. Indeed works to simplify your hiring process. We give you access to a large pool of talent and provide tools that help you filter candidates for the specific skills and experience you're looking for. It's no wonder more than 3 million businesses worldwide use Indeed for hiring. Increase your visibility to great candidates with a free sponsored job upgrade on your first posting at Indeed.com/TV2. This is Charlie.
Hi.
This is Charlie's truck, Hank. Together, they're Charlie's Landscaping.
5 years and counting.
Charlie knows plants, but not much about hiring people to plant them.
Rules, rules, rules.
So she counts on LegalZoom for help with a lot of the legal stuff that's part of running a business.
I have a legal question. They have a legal answer.
She means we helped her incorporate and learn the ins and outs of hiring help, so Charlie and Hank can get back to beautifying yards.
Somebody needs to.
This is Charlie's dream job, and this is where life meets legal. Each day, Justin chooses to walk. At work and after work. He does it all with Dr. Scholl's. Only Dr. Scholl's has massaging gel insoles that provide all-day comfort to keep him feeling more energized. Dr. Scholl's, born to move. Imagine being able to do whatever you want to do, whenever you want to do it. Sandals, more quality inclusions than any other resorts on the planet. Save up to 65%. Call 1-800-SANDALS.
You haven't seen the sun in like forever, so you search for a beach vacation. Sunny beaches, sandy beaches, big beaches, small beaches, until you're lost, searching for surfing dogs. But then, you find VRBO, and they search millions of homes to find you the perfect beach house, where you all find your own rooms, and a grill bigger than your kitchen back home. And finding out about the girl he likes at school warms your heart even more than the sun. From beach houses to cabins to condos, find vacation homes that match you with VRBO.
People refer to the Bush family as a dynasty. That's what it is, and that's what it was.
The Bush Years, Sunday at 9 on CNN.
Why would you hire a corporate lawyer to work for legal aid?
Such a waste.
I'll see you in court. It must be nice to be the chosen child. And if I were you, I'd rich girl magic my situation every day. You're really gonna derail this young man's life.
What do you want me to do?
I'd say your job.
Do you like being a lawyer, Ms. Diggs?
Depends on the day, Your Honor. Do you like being a judge?
Marcy Diggs, legal aid. Get out while you still can.
I'm just getting started.
Looking for unlocked entertainment?
You think you're real smart, don't you?
Can't you be cool like me?
CTV.ca and the app have thousands of hours of uncut Hollywood hits.
Help me. Help you.
Full seasons of timeless television.
That's right, slow and nice, nobody gets hurt.
All totally unlocked. With no subscription, no sign-up required.
He's peanut butter and jealous.
CTV Throwback and CTV Movies.
If we win, we'll change the game.
Entertainment unlocked for everyone. Streaming now at CTV.ca and the app.
Tricky Dick, a new CNN original series, Sunday night, March 17th.
While specifics have yet to spill from Michael Cohen's closed-door hearing today, the top Democrat on the Senate Intel Committee did say this.
2 years ago when this investigation started, I said it may be the most important thing I'm involved in my public life in the Senate, and nothing I've heard today dissuades me from that view.
Senator Warner there emphasizing the gravity of tomorrow's public hearing, which many say might be the most damaging hearing for a commander-in-chief since former White House counsel John Dean blew the whistle on Nixon in 1973. His testimony marked the unraveling of that presidency. Could tomorrow's hearing be just as consequential? Simone Sanders, Steve Cortez, great debate. Simone, is tomorrow of great import, yes or no, and why?
I mean, I think tomorrow is important because it's the first time America really is hearing from Michael Cohen since he was, sentenced, actually. He is set to go to jail and serve 3 years in jail for lying to Congress for hush money payments. So we're going to learn a whole lot tomorrow. I also think this draws rightfully so, it draws parallels to John Dean. When John Dean testified before the Senate's Watergate Committee, that is where we found out a lot of information. That's where the revealing of Nixon's enemies list came forward. Yeah. That is where all of these things happened. And so I think similarly, tomorrow, potentially we will learn new information. I don't think to the gravity of what folks learned in the Watergate hearings in 1973, but I think we will learn something new. And Michael Cohen will have to answer why he lied in the first place and why he is back here tomorrow.
So Steve,
more so than just salvaging his reputation.
So Steve, I'm not a big lover of hype, but the reason I believe tomorrow is going to be remembered in this entire situation is that I see it as a pivot point. Because this isn't going to be about what's in the Mueller report taking down the presidency. That's my speculation. Yes, attack me for it, everybody, if you will. But I've just never seen it being an existential threat to the presidency. However, tomorrow is the day that you know whether this president does or does not have something else to really worry about, right? Other than that Russia stuff. Either Cohen can point these guys in a direction and say he knew about this. Maybe it's felony campaign finance reform. Maybe it's that and something else. But tomorrow's the day you know whether or not there's something else there that we haven't heard of yet.
Right. Now, listen, I agree. But by the way, it can't be Cohen's word, right? It has to be Cohen proving it.
100%.
Documentation, yes. Corroboration, because, to channel the Eagles, he can't hide those lion eyes. So we cannot take his word for anything. But I agree with you. And by the way, I've said all along on your show and others on this network for a long time, the proper way to execute oversight over the executive branch is what's happening tomorrow, is the Congress holding hearings. That's what our system is designed to do constitutionally. What it is not designed to do is have a largely unaccountable prosecutor within the president's own Justice Department investigating.
Well, remember, they did the special counsel regs to make him more accountable, right? Both left and right. After Iran-Contra and the Clinton situation, none of them wanted that independent counsel.
I'm saying this is the right way. This is how we're supposed to investigate.
Yeah, listen, I'm fine with that. And in truth, if the president hadn't done what he did with Comey, you probably wouldn't have had a special counsel.
I agree. It was by far the worst mistake of his presidency.
But here's what I want both of your take on about this. Here's the problem. Cohen is an admitted liar, Simone, all right? Now, you've had people since then say, well, he's been credible here. Today, some people dribbled out some positive things. So you have him, though, an admitted liar, and you have the president, who is a habitual liar on the exact same points. Who do you believe?
Well, I think that's why Michael Cohen's testimony, and if he reveals something new tomorrow, must in fact be backed up with documentation, with facts. I actually, Chris, believe that there are more tapes than Michael Cohen has. We only had those tapes because those are the tapes that Michael Cohen decided to leak to us. We don't know if he has more conversations that he has recorded between not just himself and President Trump, but himself and other folks. So we don't actually... We don't know. That's why tomorrow is so important. But I do believe that Michael Cohen's testimony has to be backed up with some facts. But I will say that President Trump has lied at every given turn about things that don't even make sense for him to tell stories about. Michael Cohen at this point has nothing else to lie about. He's going to jail. His reputation is already in tatters from folks on both sides of the aisle. And so now Michael Cohen is before Congress for no other reason, I think, but to tell the truth. And I think maybe, get somebody to play him better in the movie that they make about this administration 30 years from now.
But, Simone and Chris, both of you just said that the president's a habitual liar, as if that's a matter of established fact. And I'm going to push back vociferously on that, because if you look at, for example, the Washington Post constantly talks about this, many thousand count lie total that they run, this lie-o-meter. When you actually look into that, okay, many of them are hyperbole, many of them are jokes, a lot of them, most of them, are opinions. So I will take issue with this fact that the president lies habitually.
He said he didn't know anything about the payments to the women.
To establish that as a premise, I think, is false.
He said he didn't know anything about the payments to the women.
Yeah, and listen, that's problematic, for sure.
No, it's not problematic.
No, that's problematic. It's a lie. That's problematic. But you can't tell me. You said he habitually lies.
Yes.
I don't see
Yes, he lies about, let me give you an example. He lied about his crowd sizes. He lies about his crowd sizes often, everywhere he goes.
When did he lie? When did he lie about crowd size?
He lied about the inauguration.
When did he lie about it? I don't recall him lying about it.
Yes, he did. Donald Trump lies about his crowd
Sean
sizes.
Spicer said a lot of things that were indefensible.
Donald Trump also repeatedly talks about how many people have told him X, Y, and Z, and how folks are calling the White House to say X, Y, and Z, and the phones are, I mean, look, the president,
Simone, do you know those to be lies?
He's giving you a break right now. You're lucky you didn't ask me this question.
Exaggerates. You know, I'm just saying that the president is not a truthful person, and if folks have a problem with the word LIAR, it's just factual. It's just
He's lying to the American people right now about the situation on the border, and you know it. He says that he needs the border wall to stop human trafficking. He's got his buddy Bob Kraft caught up in one of the biggest trafficking rings they found. He didn't mention anything about trafficking. He's got his labor secretary who gave Jeffrey Epstein a deal that a judge says was part of a lie. He never mentioned trafficking about that either.
He's lying. Bob Kraft was not human trafficking. Okay, that's just
I never said he was.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
I never said he was.
To be clear, the women who were involved in what everyone is calling the prostitution ring, that is in fact trafficking.
It is, but I'm not condemning Bob.
I don't want to get it. I'm not here to defend Bob Kraft.
I just want to be clear about that.
That's fine. And you can defend the president's credibility. I'm fine with that. You want to say not all of it is an intentional deception? That's fine. Let's just stick to the instant that we're dealing with, okay? Which is, in this instance, he said he knew nothing about these payments. It never made any sense. But he said it, and he knew that it wasn't true. That's a lie. Now, the person who did it for him is admitted to a felony, and our president amounted to an unindicted co-conspirator in the indictment. That's a problem. Now, tomorrow, we find out whether or not how he was paid and who made the decisions and in what context cements why he had to plead guilty to that. And if so, and it leads to the campaign that leads to the president, that's problematic. That's why I'm saying tomorrow is going to be significant no matter what it's about.
Oh, and listen, I agree. What kind of proof he can offer could be extremely significant. But to that point, too, again, I challenge the premise. Just because Michael Cohen pled guilty to campaign violations does not mean they actually happened.
Tyler suggested that it did.
Michael Cohen was
he
was over a barrel for very serious crimes, totally unrelated to Donald Trump.
True.
And prosecutors often use that kind of leverage to get a defendant to plead guilty to a crime that may not, in fact, have been a crime.
True.
And I believe that those were not campaign finance violations. Had he been able to fight that, he would have won had he had his day in court. Unfortunately, he couldn't fight because he couldn't take the risk because he was so dishonest in many other areas of his life and so
Chris,
criminal.
if I can make a different point, I think it's also important to note here for the testimony tomorrow, the only thing protecting the president currently at this time, specifically in relation to Michael Cohen, is the fact that he is the current president of the United States. He is an unindicted co-conspirator, and if not for him being the president, he too would probably be on his way to jail. And so I think it's very interesting that the very thing that is protecting him from prosecution right now is the thing that has him in trouble. The only reason anyone is under a spotlight, from Roger Stone to Michael Cohen, the only reason this hearing is actually happening tomorrow is because Donald Trump made the decision to run for president of the United States.
Here's what we should all hope for, that tomorrow it's going to be a long time. Hopefully people keep it a little bit in check. All right, there's going to be drama. We know that. These are politicians. It's going to be drama. But hopefully we're able to understand tomorrow at the end of the day, here's what this guy knows. Here's what's worth following, or there is nothing worth following. And that is going to be very helpful to this process either way. Simone, Steve, you two were helpful as well. Be well. Tomorrow, it's going to be a big deal. It just is. It's not about hype, because it could come out tomorrow where you're like, wow, he doesn't have anything on the president. There's absolutely nothing that this president has to worry about. Okay. But you never know, and that's why we're bringing the big guns out to break down how it may shake out. People who know the intricacies of this. Investigative journalist Michael Isikoff has seen presidents rise and fall. How does this shape up to him? What are his questions? Key insight next.
From the start, the C-Class was ahead of its time. Still, We never stop making it stronger, faster, smarter. Because to be the best is to never, ever stop making it better. The new 2019 C-Class family. Lease the C300 Sports Sedan for $429 a month at your local Mercedes-Benz dealer. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
I can't believe it. I've been playing 4-on-4 with a barbershop quartet.
Pass the ball, pass the rock. We're open, just pass the ball.
Nah, I can't believe how easy it was to save hundreds of dollars on my car insurance with Geico. Yeah.
Believe it, Geico could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Need a change of scenery? Kayak searches hundreds of travel sites and lets you filter by takeoff time, layovers, and more, so you can be confident you're getting the right flight at the best price. Kayak. Search one and done.
Chicken?
Chicken!
Chicken!
That's right, Candace. New chicken creations from Starkist.
Buffalo-style chicken in a pouch. Bold choice, Charlie.
Just tear, eat,
and go.
Try all of my chicken creations.
Chicken!
First dates, they can be a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, I know. Kind of like my constipation.
Let's not talk about constipation.
Did I make it more uncomfortable?
Say no more to occasional constipation with clinically proven effective Seneca. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back.
Every time you swipe your card, your big bank is likely hurting the planet. And your wallet. Unfair fees. Your deposits funding oil drills and pipelines. You can do better. Make the switch from your big bank to Aspiration. Aspiration helps you spend and save with a conscience. With Aspiration, you'll pay 0 fees at every ATM in the world, all while keeping your money safe and fossil fuel free. Join the nearly 1 million Americans who are making the move to save money and save the planet. Go to aspiration.com.
For myself and you, those love is true. And never let you go.
Elite Singles, the leading dating site for highly educated singles. Register today to love again at elitesingles.com.
This is the story of a dark kingdom. But when a young prince rises to power, there is hope for freedom and friendship. Then there is murder.
Why would you bring a bone saw to an interrogation?
This is the story of Saudi Arabia, Kingdom of Secrets, Sunday at 8.
Oh my gosh, that's Frank Thomas. No. Yes, that's him. Go ahead. Excuse me, are you Frank Thomas?
Yes, I am.
I bet you get recognized a lot.
I was a pretty good ball player.
You were?
Some people thought so.
Sorry, we recognize you from those Nugenics commercials.
Oh, yeah? That's great.
So does Nugenics really work?
Oh, yeah. I really can feel the difference. My workouts are better, and I feel a lot more energetic.
I wish my husband would use Nugenics.
It's so easy to get started. All you have to do is send one simple text.
Text 369-369 and enter GREAT for a complimentary bottle of award-winning Nugenics, the #1 selling free testosterone booster at GNC. Its unique man-boosting formula is powered by Testofen, a patented key ingredient clinically researched to help a man feel stronger, leaner, more energetic, and more passionate.
And you're going to like the difference, too.
Text 369-369 and enter GREAT for a complimentary bottle of Nugenics. Samples are not available in stores. Text 369-369 and enter GREAT.
The Bush Years, Sunday at 9 on CNN.
From the start, the president has said his business empire is a red line. That line will be crossed in just over 12 hours. The question is, what will we see when the curtain is pulled back, if anything? One man who's been digging deep into Trump world is Michael Isikoff. Welcome back to Prime Time. Do you believe tomorrow is a pivotal occasion?
Yeah, it's, perhaps the most pivotal moment in the Trump presidency to date. The first time we're going to hear from a Trump insider, somebody who had been with him for years, testifying in public and laying it all out there. I mean, if you want to go back and look in recent history, the only comparable moments I can think of is John Dean in Watergate and Ollie North during Iran-Contra. Major presidential scandals with key witnesses testifying in public before Congress. The only thing I can say is, Chris, this should have happened a long time ago.
True. What do you want to know? And help me with this. The idea that he has stuff that he wants to show them. How would he have stuff that he wasn't supposed to turn over already?
Well, presumably he has turned it over to the Southern District and to Mueller's people, whatever he's had. Why he didn't turn it over to Congress? The answer is, the fact is, he lied to Congress. He's admitted he lied to Congress when he testified before. He's going to have a lot of explaining to do about why he lied when he previously testified to. And also, if the leaks we're getting from his spinners, principally Lanny Davis, are true, and he's going to talk about, all the sordid things Donald Trump did over the years, racist comments, sexist comments, fraud. Michael Cohen was there beside him all these years. Was there ever a moment that he had doubts about what Donald Trump was doing, where he expressed reservations? Did he ever talk to Donald Trump and say, you shouldn't be doing this? I mean, all these are legitimate questions that he'll have to answer.
See, I hear you, but a lot of that stuff, anything that goes to the general nature and character of Donald Trump, I mean, that's a dead letter for me, Mike, because they already decided to elect him. So now it's, do you have something bigger? Like, what do you want to know that might be influential on the political process that may follow oversight?
All right, well, let's start with the campaign finance violations. He's pled guilty to them. He said he acted in coordination at the direction of Donald Trump. The prosecutors have endorsed that. But how did that work? What did Donald Trump say exactly to him? What did he say to Donald Trump about those payments to Stormy Daniels and the scheme to pay off Karen McDougal? Was it discussed in the context of the election? Cohen has said he did this for the purpose of keeping these women quiet during the election. But the critical question as far as Trump's culpability is, what was in his head?
Right.
Had he made these sorts of payments before? If so, that could be exculpatory. This may be the way Donald Trump did business. Right. Somebody makes allegations against you, you pay them off and keep them silent.
And what if he can show that the president thought that this was connected to his campaign hopes?
Well, then that does directly implicate the president in a crime. No, not in and of itself. First of all, these payments were. One thing that's interesting that nobody's picked up on here is the fact that he's going to testify about them at all. Presumably, if the Southern District had an ongoing investigation into this matter, they would have put the brakes on Cohen testifying about that, but they haven't done that. It suggests to me that they don't have further indictments they plan to bring, not just against the president, which they're probably barred from doing because of Justice Department policy, but others in the Trump organization who were complicit in making those payments.
So do you think that they're letting him talk about it because this is the closest they get to what they know? Or do you think they're letting him talk about it because there's nothing there so they don't care?
Well, there's clearly something there because he pled guilty to it. But the question is, are there further cases down the road that the Southern District is building? If so, you would have expected them to ask Cohen not to testify about it. But I want to come back to something else you said earlier in the show. You said he's not allowed to talk about Russia. Who said he's not allowed to talk about Russia? That's, Cummings said this is not going to be about Russia, but he didn't give an explanation for why not. Cohen testified about Russia today behind closed doors. He'll testify on Thursday before the House behind closed doors. We've not been given any explanation for why that testimony, which is crucial to the Russia investigation and the most important threat to Donald Trump's presidency, something that could lead to impeachment depending on the circumstances. There's been no reason given for why Donald Trump can't give that why Michael Cohen can't give that testimony in public.
Michael Isikoff, on point as always. I can't wait to get your thoughts on what happens tomorrow. Be available, please, sir.
Sure.
Take care. On the other side of the planet, the president may be pulling an all-nighter to watch what we'll all be watching tomorrow. Who knows? Maybe Kim Jong will tune in as well. What are those two up to in Vietnam on the eve of their second summit? That's next.
I want the world. I want the whole world.
Native American, specifically from the Chihuahua people. What? I find that crazy. It traces their journey in the mid-1800s from central Mexico to Texas. Learning about the risks they took for a better life, it gives me so much respect and gratitude. It just sheds so much light in my past that I never even would have known was there.
20 million members have connected to a deeper family story. Order your kit at Ancestry.com.
T-Mobile's always happy to see you. When you join T-Mobile, you get 2 lines of unlimited with 2 of the latest phones included for just $100 a month.
Fact, we all love video doorbells. Voice assistants have changed our lives. We now control our home with a touch. Indoor and outdoor cameras help us keep watch.
We want to guard our digital lives.
And hold tight to our loved ones everywhere. And you know what's better than all these things by themselves? All these things together from the most trusted name in security, ADT.
Coaching means making tough choices.
You're in.
But when you have high blood pressure and need cold medicine that works fast, the choice is simple. Coracetin HBP is the #1 brand that gives powerful cold symptom relief without raising your blood pressure. Coracetin HBP.
Five-star luxury-included resorts. We'll take you places you've never been before, but we'll remember forever. Call 1-800-SANDALS.
Don't let your longwear weigh you down. New Infallible Freshwear Foundation by L'Oreal. Get longwear coverage from our most lightweight, breathable formula. Defies sweat and transfer. Stays fresh, feels light, all day, tonight. New Infallible Freshwear by L'Oreal.
Closed captioning brought to you by InventHelp. Call 1-800-591-4003.
Got an idea for an invention, but don't know what to do next? Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call today for free information.
Call 800-591-4003.
Half a world away from Washington, drama is unfolding in Hanoi, Vietnam. And it's not just because of Trump's upcoming meeting with Kim Jong-un. The North Korean leader's arrival today meant this. Another glimpse of his men in black running after his motorcade. But they weren't the only ones running. If you thought they were fast, check this out. This is Kim's translator, sprinting to his side after the leader stepped off the train in Vietnam. There's a reason why he's running so fast. When you work in a place like North Korea, you do not want to tick off the boss. It's a funny moment, but not really. Life's no joke when you're dealing with a deadly, bloodlusting, ruthless dictator who in reality is using human shields for his motorcade. D. Lemon is with me. You know, the reason this has all become more interesting is that the president has gone out of his way to bring up the better side of Kim Jong-un. You know, he's been really effective. You know, he's a young guy. You got to respect that he got power, and he sure does love his country.
I think the president, he would probably want that. Don't you think he would like people chasing after him that way?
He has people chasing after him.
Well, not like that, like running behind his motorcade. I think he would actually. Quick. I think he would love that. But listen, this is what happens when you put a dictator on the same level as president of the United States. And you know, did you see the video of Kim Jong-un stopping to take a smoke break?
Yeah.
He's all excited. He's like chilled. He's like he's had a night out on the town and, you know, and a good night. He's taking a smoke break, getting off of his train. He's like, look, I'm on the world leader, the president, the leader of the free world. Yeah. I'm on the same footing as him. So that's what happens when you do this.
What are you taking on tonight?
Of course, we're going to talk about Michael Cohen. Finally, I can see you. I couldn't see you for a moment there.
Oh, it's a tragedy in and of itself.
I know. I was just looking at myself in the monitor.
Do you believe tomorrow's a big day?
I do believe tomorrow's a big day, and I think, you know, people say Michael Cohen has credibility issues. Okay, I'll grant you that. But I actually think he's pretty credible right now. I think that he has, what does he have to gain by doing this? Certainly nothing. And if he lies, he could end up going to jail for a much longer time. So, you know, all those people are saying Michael Cohen is not credible. I think he's actually pretty credible, and that's why you're seeing disgusting things, vile, below-the-belt things like Matt Gaetz. I've never seen anything like that in my life. Where I grew up, you know what you call that? Low down in the gutter.
Yep, Director Clapper joins us. He's going to talk about what Michael Cohen will bring or not bring to the table tomorrow. And he has experience, he has knowledge, so he knows.
Beautiful. Don, I'll check see you in a second.
See ya.
All right. So, time for the closing argument. It's going to be a lot to digest tomorrow, both abroad and here at home. And I hope Republicans and Democrats remember why they're there. We know that there's going to be drama. We know that there's going to be pageantry. But there's an argument to be made about what tomorrow means one way or the other, and I make it for you next.
Cuomo Prime Time, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday. Tuesday's dinner for two, just $24.99. Choose 2 of 6 delicious entree favorites, 2 endless garden bars, and a delectable dessert to share. Come find your new favorite. Ruby Tuesday's dinner for two, just $24.99.
You haven't seen the sun in like forever, so you search for a beach vacation. Sunny beaches, sandy beaches, big beaches, small beaches, until you're lost, searching for surfing dogs. But then you find VRBO, and they search millions of homes to find you the perfect beach house, where you all find your own rooms and a grill bigger than your kitchen back home. And finding out about the girl he likes at school warms your heart even more than the sun. From beach houses to cabins to condos, find vacation homes that match you with VRBO.
You need to hire great people. We make it possible. Indeed works to simplify your hiring process. We give you access to a large pool of talent and provide tools that help you filter candidates with the specific skills and experience you're looking for. It's no wonder more than 3 million businesses worldwide use Indeed for hiring. Make your job stand out to the right talent with a $50 credit to upgrade your first posting at Indeed.com/TV1.
The old crew. Remember when we all used to go to the cafeteria and just chow down midday?
You mean like lunch?
Come on. Voted most likely to help people save $668 when they switch?
At this school?
Didn't you get caught in the laminating machine?
Box, have a great summer, Danielle. Ooh, Danielle, control yourself.
I'd like to slow it down here with a special discount for a special girl. Danielle, this one's for you.
This is Miguel.
Hola.
This is Miguel's mandolin business he built himself. This is Miguel's son.
Sorry.
Miguel wants to pass on his business to his son, but he doesn't know how.
Music I could read. Legal? Not so much.
So he turned to his friends at LegalZoom. We helped him set up the right estate plan so his son will inherit his business, so Miguel can get back to making music.
Sings like an angel, doesn't she?
This is Miguel's mandolin shop, and this is where life meets legal.
I want to talk about my family. Like the pine trees lining the winding road, I'd be nothing without them. I've got a name. I've got a name. Let me down the highway. Let me down the highway.
Family is paramount to all the Bushes.
The Bush News, Sunday at 9 on CNN.
Hi, I'm reading for the part of Jan. Oh, I'm so sorry about your dog.
Try it happier.
Excuse me? Clearly the dog is dead. I'm sorry about your dog.
Try angry.
I'm sorry about your dog!
A little sexier.
What? I'm so sorry about your dog. That felt good to me.
Thank you for coming in.
Okay, you know that I am Jan Arden, right?
We'll be in touch. Next.
Why would you hire a corporate lawyer to work for legal aid?
Such a waste.
I'll see you in court. It must be nice to be the chosen child.
And if I were you, I'd rich girl magic my situation every day. You're really gonna derail this young man's life.
What do you want me to do?
I'd say your job.
Do you like being a lawyer, Ms. Diggs?
Depends on the day, Your Honor. Do you like being a judge?
Marcy Diggs, legal aid. You know why you still can.
I'm just getting started.
This is CNN, the most trusted name in news.
There's no need to hype tomorrow. We know it's a loaded occasion. We haven't really heard from anyone inside the president's inner circle. That's about to change.
I look forward to tomorrow, to being able to, in my voice, to tell the American people my story, and I'm going to let the American people decide exactly who's telling the truth.
To be fair, Cohen is an admitted liar, and this president and his peeps certainly want you to believe that that's all he is. Ordinarily, the bar would be really high to impugn such an office, but this president is also a known liar. So who and what to believe? Considerations. Cohen knows Congress would immediately refer him for prosecution, and that the DOJ would be happy to oblige if he lies. And Cohen knows they caught him once already. Second, proof. He was at the center of an admitted felony, paying off women to help the campaign. Does he have proof that there was a plan to cover up the payments, that the president directed him, that the president knew this was to help the campaign? Proof will be the key. Remember the tape Cohen made of POTUS and him discussing the payments to his women. Remember before that, the president used to say, I didn't know anything. After it, all they could do was play with what words he used in the tape. Video, proof, matters. I fought like crazy to get you that tape because I knew this was going to be about more than a peccadillo. Now, I believe Cohen has other proof. Maybe not as obvious as this tape. That would shock me. But it could go to what this president knew and may have enabled or directed. That is a huge boost because corroboration feeds credibility. Last, Cohen has been at Trump's feet for a lot of things. He's inner circle, certainly about the business practices, but also the campaign. What did the president know, and when did he know it, and how can Cohen show the same? This man could be your best look at that so far. And if he has nothing, this is still pivotal, because it may signal that this POTUS has nothing to really fear. Harkens back to Watergate, Counsel John Dean testifying to establish that Nixon knew what was up.
I began by telling the president that there was a cancer growing on the presidency. And if the cancer was not removed, the president himself would be killed by it.
Testimony had a huge impact, ultimately leading to Nixon's resignation. When an insider reveals that a president knew something and lied about it, it hurts. Remember this?
Isn't it a fact, Dr. Rice, that the August 6 PDB warned against possible attacks in this country? And I ask you whether you recall the title of that PDB.
I believe the title was Bin Laden Determined to Attack Inside the United States.
Not a good time to be cavalier. Presidential daily briefing. There was Condi Rice, insider, revealing that which was played as a random attack was something maybe different. I remember her words and how they resonated. And of course, the infamous Iran-Contra hearing and the infamy of Ollie North.
I came here to tell you the truth, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
North revealed he moved money from the Iran deal to the Nicaragua Contras, and he claimed his higher-ups at the White House knew about it, possibly even the president. Now comes Cohen, the latest entrant to a pantheon of perfidy, those who turned on presidents to come clean to you about important matters that were lied about and or covered up. Of course, Cohen's not at the same level of power or prestige as any of these other examples, but this is the Trump administration. Those qualities are in short supply. And it's fitting, given this president's background, that a lawyer and fixer known for tough talk and being loose with the truth would be the echo of the chief executive. We are the company we keep, right? Those on the left, be sure to see what Cohen can say and show to back up any statements. Even in a political trial, you can only claim to know what you can eventually show. Please stick to the matters that are most serious. Scandal is seductive, believe me, I know. But try to be productive. And for those on the right, you have an obvious problem. For those looking to curry favor with this president and his base by ripping into Cohen as a liar and someone known to do bad things, be slow to call out things in Cohen that you ignore on a daily basis from this president. Too many are dismissing Cohen as not being worthy of any belief because of his admitted lies, when they refuse to call out a president who has already lied more than any president in modern history. Tomorrow's a big day. Hopefully it's not about hype, but history. This day may be remembered as Dean and North are today. Hopefully it is remembered for advancing our understanding of what matters. Tomorrow will be the day that it became clear that this president has something significant to worry about, or he does not. Either way, more clarity would be a gift you all deserve. Thank you for watching. CNN Tonight with D. Lemon starts right now. Give it to him a little early. Is he in the chair?
Yes.
And ready?
You see that? Wait, oh, that way. You see that behind me?
Yes.
Capitol. I'm in Washington. I'm getting ready for tomorrow. You will be here tomorrow. There's a lot to talk about. I watch you every night, buddy, when I'm not taping stuff for my own show. And, you know, you just said that this president has a history, that he lies a lot. And one of your guests said, no, it has not been proven. And you were asking, and I was sitting there in my office watching your TV, and I was going through them. I'm like, well, he said that 4 former presidents said that they wanted the wall built. They all said no, he lied. They didn't want the wall built. He said he didn't know about the payments to Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal. That was a lie. He said Obama ordered wiretapping on Trump Tower. That was a lie. He said he passed the biggest tax cut in history. That is a lie. He said that Obama was close to starting a war with North Korea. That is a lie. He said he had nothing to do with Russia, but in fact, his own lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, says it talks about this Moscow project. That was a lie. He lied about that. He's lied about so many things. He lied about the former president not being from born in the United States. Lies, and more.
And that's why it's tough for these Republicans tomorrow. They're going to come at Cohen, and rightly so. They have every right to grill him, but if they're going to do it in the name of defending the president,
they have every right to grill him. But they don't have every right to defend him, because if you care about one liar,
that's right,
then you have to care equally about another liar.
Yes.
So why do Michael Cohen's lies matter and Donald Trump lies don't?
That's right, because one of them they're afraid of, and one of them they're not. That's why, but that's the problem for them tomorrow. And that's why if they come out about him just as a point of credibility, and he's actually to show things that corroborate things, it's going to come back to haunt them, because they're not going to be able to keep to that standard with this president, and many, in fact, have abused it. They ignore what he does on a regular basis. So tomorrow they want to get righteous. You know, it's going to be a little bit of an obvious hypocrisy, but that's politics.
That little bit of it, it's amazing to sit here and just watch the hypocrisy happen. I mean, it's just amazing. We don't need this kind of oversight of the president. Okay, remember when a very similar thing happened to Bill Clinton? Where were you then? What were you saying? When it started off as Whitewater and it ended up with Monica Lewinsky, you weren't saying, well, that's outside the scope of what the special counsel... Nobody was saying that, and all of a sudden now you want to play by different rules. That's not how it works.
This is what gave birth to Donald Trump. The obvious hypocrisy, the disaffection with the same, people being fed up and having no expectations of trust or integrity. That was the petri dish, the bowl of ingredients that allowed Donald Trump to feast on those feelings, those same feelings. Look, the same time we're talking about this, and this matters, they had an emergency declaration vote today, right, that they're trying to work through?
Yeah,
about whether or not to have a joint statement of recall on it, right? Joint resolution. How many Republicans went after Obama for doing exactly this? How many times did they say, Paul, Ryan, and all these other guys, you know, now he's out, but how many times did they say, we got to take our power back from the president? Yeah. We got to stop letting them send military
all over. He's not a monarch. He's not a dictator.
Yeah, we got to get it all back. Yeah. Now, he's sticking it right in their face, and they're eating it like it was ice cream.
Well, and listen, I have to say, I know politics is a dirty business. Nobody knows that more than you, right? You grew up in the political family. Have you ever seen anything like Congressman Gates did today?
Oh, Matt Gaetz? I thought you meant the whole process.